Hello. So for this session, we will be doing scraping using Selenium. In the previous session, you have scraped web pages using Beautiful Soup. And specifically, we were scraping the books to scrape web page, but now we will be doing it for the codes to scrape web page. As a reminder, perform web scraping with extra caution and not abuse it. The boundaries are not very clear when it comes to what you can and cannot do. So use your own judgment if you think what you're about to do is unethical or illegal. You might see that my previous run date here would be 2 years ago, but I just updated it today because the old code has been deprecated. So I have to update the code. In any case, we should start by scraping the codes to scrape web page using Beautiful Soup. So the standard one, we just use the codes to scrape. So if you don't know, this is what codes to scrape looks like. This is codes to scrape, and we want to extract the codes on this web page. So the standard one, and then we inspect the HTML code. So we should be getting the codes. If you do F12, you should be seeing that, and then check the tag containing the code. So there's a div containing classical scope. So we should be getting that, right? Actually, no. If you look at the response, you will see that we don't have that actually. We don't have the codes here. So why is that the case? It is because this web page is dynamic. And with Beautiful Soup, we cannot scrape dynamic contents. We only get the details that were there when you loaded the page initially. And there are many web pages like this. There are many dynamic web pages. So how do we handle that? There's Selenium. So how do you use Selenium? Well, first things first, you have to install it. So you could use conda install, conda forge Selenium, or pip install Selenium. Also, you might have to get the driver for your specific browser. So in my case, I am using Chrome, so I downloaded it here. In your case, you might be using another browser, so download the latest one so it works. Okay, so I will go back here. So once you are done with that, you just use the following code. So all the imports, so Selenium related imports, and then you specify the driver, put your driver in a folder where you could easily find it. I just put mine in the folder where this notebook is. So there's the driver folder and then contains a Chrome driver. And then again, I'm using that same web page. So I specify the path here, and then there we go. Now I was able to get some of the contents. As you can see, when I ran this cell here, it opened up a new tab. That's normal. So that's what Selenium does. It opens up a new browser and it will extract those details from there. So let's see what it has. Okay, so how do we extract the codes? So we could use XPath. So this is how we can get the elements that we want. XPath is a language used for locating nodes in an XML document. As HTML can be an implementation of XML, Selenium users can leverage this powerful language to target elements in their web application. XPath supports the simple methods of locating by ID or name attributes and extends them by opening up all sorts of new possibilities, such as locating the third checkbox on the page. So I just got this from the XPath website. So if you want to know more details about that, you could just check the XPath tutorials here on W3 Schools. So this is how you can select nodes. You just specify the node name, and if you use slash, then you select from the root node. If you use double slash, then it can be from anywhere in the document. So this is how you utilize that. For example, if we want to get the bookstore, you could use this one, the slash bookstore. So it selects the bookstore from the root element. But if you want to get for example, the book inside bookstore, then use bookstore slash book, but it should be the direct children of that specific element. But if you are not particular about that, if it can be deeply nested, then you might want to use double slash instead. So this is quite comprehensive, so you just use this as a reference. Okay, going back. So we want to get the codes, right? And based from what we have seen here, it is div and then class equals code. So if we want to get the codes, then we use that filtering mechanism. So we're finding the elements wherein it's in a div tag, and then there's a code class. So we use that. And we got 10 items. If we want to check len codes, it's 10. If you want to get the text, you do .text similar to beautiful soup. But the thing is, it contains the different elements of that element. So if you expand this, actually, there's different elements here. There is 2 spans and 1 div. So here. Okay. Now again, this returns all the text inside the element. But how can we choose specific parts of the element then? Then we add that specific filter. So inside that specific element, the first code, we get the class equals text. So we get the actual text. And then it did not return the other details, right? So if we want to get the author, then it's class equals author. How about the tags? Then class equals tag in this case. And then we just make a for loop so we can get all the tags, change the thoughts, thinking world. Now, if you've noticed, actually, there should be more codes here. But the thing is, it will only appear if you scroll. So for example, there's only 10 to begin with, but if you scroll, then it will generate the other 10. So you have to scroll a lot until you get all the codes on this web page. So how do you do that? We can handle scrolling by using this code. So it's just a loop, and then it keeps on scrolling up until there's no more contents that we can pull. So if we run this and go back here, you will see that it should be scrolling. Oh, sorry, this one. This one was the generated one by Selenium. So it has scrolled. If you want to check again, we can close this. And then we run it again here. We create another browser. So it's just that, the first 10. And let's try to do the scrolling. You will see that it will be scrolling. As you can see here, it is scrolling until the end. So now that we're done, the loop has stopped. We could now check the number of layers that we have. So we have 100 now. We got everything. So that's how you scrape dynamic web pages. Now for your exercise, you should scrape the page and save the results into a pandas data frame with the following format. So we have the author, the tags, and the code. That's it for Selenium for scraping dynamic web pages. Thank you.